Hello, paint pouring people. Working on a couple of technical details before we actually start, so just wanted to hit the go live button, and I have everything ready, don't worry. Just gonna let a few people show up too, and my cameraman is the tech guy as well, so he's working on a couple things, and everything's ready except our technical stuff. There it is.
One person watching. Okay, there we go. YouTube always makes you wonder if you're on the right page.
It's an imperfect system, but it's got a lot of potential. Going live.
So there's going to be a little bit of a delay.
I see that. Okay. Imperfect system, but
62 people.
Okay, let's do
62
it.
people watching, and more people starting to come in. So we're on.
Okay. I'm going to do a pour demo today. I'm going to have you guys ask some questions, and my camera guy, you got to turn that sound down.
Huh?
I'm hearing myself talk.
There we go. I don't see any way to turn this off. Let's do that. There we go. There we go. Okay.
All right, let's go, people. I know you're ready. So now I'm finally ready. I'm going to do, obviously, a paint pouring demo today. Today it's going to be a Christmas tree. I have an 11 by 14 canvas, which is a nice little Christmas tree size. I always gesso my canvas. People ask, why gesso? Well, I don't like the factory finish on a canvas for one thing. And also, some of these inexpensive canvases are the canvas is very thin. So it gives me my own layer of gesso. It's a nice white surface, and a lot of people want to skip this step. You can skip it if you like, but you can also skip brushing your teeth. So I like gessoing. I like the way that looks, and I actually don't mind a little texture. People are worried about texture. This gesso, I spread it on with just like a spatula or whatever I can come up with to spread it on. It leaves a little texture. I actually like texture. If you don't like texture, you can water down your gesso some with just a little water, and it'll go on a little smoother. Anyway, this is dry. It's ready to go, and I have all my paint colors mixed up. Just a brief explanation of my mixing process. I use acrylic paint, pouring medium, a few drops of silicone, and a few drops of water per cup, and it's approximately 1 part paint, 3 parts pouring medium, just enough water to thin it down, and say 5 drops of silicone in each of these cups. Now, if you've watched millions of other videos of people pouring, you're going to get really confused. I've already heard from people who are very confused. I don't use alcohol in my pour unless it's a margarita. Then I'll have a margarita. But I don't use alcohol. I don't use cooking oil. I don't use plaster. I don't use all that stuff. So if you see other people doing other things, it may work for them. But I also think people are trying to come up with alternatives, and it's just not necessary. Keep it simple. One of the things I love doing is use what you have. Like, for example, if you have some acrylic paint, don't run out and buy more. Just use what you have and get started. And also keep it simple. I have very simple ingredients. There's no need to reinvent this. This is still an experimental technique. So yes, there will be new discoveries, but for now, keeping it very simple.
Before you get too far along, I'm just going to acknowledge a few people that are here.
Okay.
We've got Paula saying hello, Brenda Marshall
Paula.
saying hello,
Brenda.
Rita from Romania, Teresa says hello, Marianne says hello, Rick says hello, Ashley, and she says hi to Caren and the camera guy. That's me. So does Tina Cole, says the same thing. Yanni, I think that's right. Yeah, that's an interesting name, Yanni. Paula Guffey again from Fort Worth. And Susan is hello from Michigan. Great weather to pour. Tina's looking for some painting. Ingrid in the Netherlands.
Yay.
Joe Dunnigan, J.O. Dunnigan. Teresa, Liverpool, a Beals fan, I'm sure. Minky Hughes. Amia. We've got in Western Australia, Geraldton, Barry from Geraldton, Western Australia.
What time is it in Australia?
6:07 a.m., he says.
Great. Good to know.
Hello, Deanie. Arteza, hello. I think we know who Arteza is. Arteza, they make some great canvases.
This is an Arteza canvas. Thank you, Arteza. They have nice little canvases for a good price. I've been using them recently. Really good. They also make these little guys right here. I've done some videos on these little 4x4 canvases. They come with their own easel. Really cute stuff. Check out the video that I have on those. And all the stuff I'm using is on my Amazon supply list. Everything on my list is just what I use, nothing more. And I have my own page there on Amazon. I'm an Amazon influencer.
So I'm going to just finish saying hello, and then we're going to get right to the painting. Hello,
Yeah.
Pamela, Judith, Jeannie, Mary, Wild West Rosie, Kimberly, somebody from Ontario, I'm not sure how to say that name. Spencer in London, Kathy in Ontario, Jacqueline, Yvette.
I'm going to get started while you're reading. Okay.
Please do. Michelle, Verna, and Gail. She's in Silicon Valley. All right. And we've got Nada from Serbia, Pamela, Antje Kusdorf from Berlin. I'm gonna just let you know who you are, Aunt G, I think it is.
Hello, Berlin, we'll say.
Stephanie
Thanks
from
for coming.
Cajun Country.
Yay, Cajun country.
Colleen in Alabama. And we've got little smart some babies. Orion is in Florida. It's hot in Florida. We got Sandra K. We got Pride Designs from Philly. Deanne from Minnesota. We have Susan. We have Brandy. We have Jacqueline. And we have Lisa. And we're going to get going here now.
Yeah, point it down a little so that you can see
Yep.
what I'm doing. I'm just putting down a white background. This is just acrylic, white acrylic paint and pouring medium. There's no silicone in the white. And I like pouring on these wet backgrounds. You don't have to, but I like this option because it kind of helps the paint slide around when I go to put the color down. So this is what I'm doing right now, getting a not too deep of a layer here, but enough where it's covered. And I'm going to put some color in this background before I start with the tree. So if anybody has any questions along the way, my cameraman Clint, his name is Clint, will answer. He will ask them and I'll answer, and maybe he'll answer some too. But I'm just going to start working on this.
Tina and Spencer, you're welcome. Teresa, you're welcome. Appreciate you guys joining us.
I'm putting down some pink and gold as a top background. It's going to be kind of, in my mind, it's a cool winter sky.
There's silicone in all of the colored paint. No silicone in the white. Joe, all in the colors. And the app we are using to broadcast is the YouTube app.
Imagine that. Some blue. I have some cells coming up with me swiping this back and forth. I'm trying to smooth it out so it stays kind of subtle. I want the Christmas tree to stand out, and I want the background to just be a pleasing background without taking over. Now I have a bunch of several greens mixed up. I'm going to create a dirty pour with not a lot of paint. Can you see this if I set this right here?
I can see that.
Okay.
Just letting some more people into the Paint Pouring People Facebook page while we're pouring here, even though we're live on YouTube, obviously.
We're multitasking.
We're multitasking. If you haven't joined Caren's Facebook group, Paint Pouring People, check it out. You have to ask to join, and we approve almost everybody. Only people we don't approve are people with no profile picture, so that we know you're a real person. The pouring medium is the question. What pouring medium are you using, Caren?
I'm using Easy Flow pouring medium. It's similar to Floetrol. I like it the best. So I'm creating a really short, dirty pour. I'm going to add some more, a little more volume. But it's amazing how really little paint this is required for what I'm getting ready to do. Since I have this background poured already, I just have some, that's a mixture of greens. There's some blue in there as well as white. This is a 5-ounce cup. I have probably less than 2 ounces in there. So here we go with the beginnings of a Christmas tree.
There is some metallic in the ruby and the gold, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, more of a pearl. I'm not sure.
Pearlesque.
Pearl, yeah, it's pearl. They call it pearl. But also known as metallic. So there's the tree. Now I'm going to take my little palette knife. It's actually a kitchen spatula. And I'm going to drag this out into a Christmas tree shape. This is the kind of the fun part. It's very free form. It's going to start at the bottom of the tree and get some fat tree shape to it. You can see the cells are coming up.
Art takes a minute, Berna.
So you can see this mixture of greens, which is a whole lot more interesting than if it was just one green. But there's blue in there. The white is showing up via these cells. The white helps cells show up because of the contrast. It's not magic or anything. It's just the contrast of the white helps cells show up. And since my tree is sitting in snow, I'm going to turn it around and take a look this way.
Couple questions here.
Okay.
Spencer, your profile picture that you're using there is totally fine. As long as it doesn't matter what kind of a profile picture it is, as long as it's not the gray outline of somebody's face. So many fake accounts don't have a profile picture, so no, your profile picture is fine. Ashley is wanting to know, Caren, Ashley is asking about wood panels and what was the question, Ashley? Wood panels and And but your feelings working on canvas versus wood panels. I had to find your comment again.
Yeah, good. I like that question. I love wood panels, but I find that they are more expensive, and I do so many paintings, and these canvases are so affordable that I feel pretty good about buying a lot of canvases at a time. Wood is really nice because you don't ever have to worry about it sagging under the weight. If you're working on a large canvas and you have a lot of paint, you need to think about it not sagging in the middle. In this 11 by 14 size, that's not an issue. But if you're start to work bigger, you need to support it underneath. I love working on wood panels, but just gesso the panels just like you would a canvas before you start painting on them, because you don't want to do a painting on a wood color because your colors won't be as bright. But I do love wood panels. Do not hesitate to use wood panels, scrap wood, anything. This is a great technique to paint on wood. It's just up to you. I've done both. I tend to have more canvases on hand than I do wood. Again, wood's a little more expensive. It's a little heavier, but there's nothing wrong with it. Do not hesitate.
Orion, she uses gesso, as she was just explaining, on all of her canvases, but she doesn't normally sand the canvas ahead of time.
No.
The only time that I've ever seen her sand canvases is if she's pouring over something that had a lot of texture, that was obviously dry, had a lot of texture, and she decided after a period of time she didn't like it and she was going to reuse the canvas. Then you might sand down some of the texture and then gesso over it.
I have some left in this dirty pour, so since this went so quickly, I'm just going to pour it out and see. Just because you've poured something doesn't mean you have to stop. So I'm just using this up basically, and it's actually making some more stripy kind of design on it, which I think is nice.
What about pouring on MDF?
Yeah, that's what's it called?
Masonite?
Masonite, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Just gesso it. Yeah, it's totally fine. Just gesso it before you...
Gesso, just think of gesso as a primer. The thing about gesso is gesso has flexibility. A lot of these other things people are using aren't meant for flexibility. Like if you're painting a wall, walls aren't supposed to be flexible. If you're using plaster that's not flexible, it'll crack, it'll break. Gesso is meant for painting. It's meant for canvas. It has flexibility. Doesn't mean it won't work on other surfaces, whereas other backgrounds don't always work so great on surfaces, painting surfaces.
So I'm adding some dots, like Christmas lights, to this tree. Just using the tip of my stick. If you just dot them on there, they will grow. If you're working on the painting while it's wet, this will grow and spread. So I'm being a little light on the amount. Just dots. Random areas.
What causes paint to crack as it is drying? Of course, this is a universal question and problem that a lot of people do have.
There's a lot of things. Your paint could be too thick, too heavy. If you're trying to dry your painting artificially with a hair dryer or some sort of heat, or putting it out in the sun, you want to let it dry more slowly. If you're in cooler weather, you're better off. If you're in hot weather, it tends to crack. I have never had a painting crack when I use this Easy Flow as a pouring medium. Cracking, I think, if you're using glue as a pouring medium, which I don't use, it's just glue is not meant to be mixed with paint. It's okay if you want to practice with it, if you have some, but I think glue can crack. Maybe the Liquitex pouring medium might have more potential to crack, but let it dry slowly. If you have to cover it, and you will lessen the cracks and maybe thin your paint down, try that. Yep, there's multiple answers to those questions. It's kind of an experiment. I had to figure it out too, because I had some paintings crack. And I actually don't mind some minor cracking, I think, because I like texture, and I embrace some minor cracking if it does happen. But I know I've seen some bad looking cracks where you just, it's no good.
Also, a finishing coat of Minwax fills in some of the cracks. If that's a another way to arrest that issue. Right on, Spencer.
So you can see these dots have grown. If you want to do these dots when the painting is dry, they will stay more. They will stay smaller and more round. But I like to just go ahead with it and see what happens. It's part of the fun to me to see what the shapes do.
Thank you, Millie.
I'm going to put some gold. Let me see. How do I want to do this? I'm going to turn it around.
Might have room for a star this time too.
Basically, yeah, I got room for a star. Little hint of some garland here in gold.
There's really, this is easy for me to say while Caren's painting, but everybody should always remember that there are no rules on, what you can do, how you want your decorations to look, how you want to basically trim your Christmas tree in this event. You can do more, you can do less, everything doesn't have to be realistic either. It can be even more contemporary than this already is. You could simulate popcorn on this tree if you wanted to, or you just kind of name it. You could put birds in this tree if you wanted to somehow. It's just up to your imagination. It's only limited to your imagination how you want to flesh this out as you go. And you could put a tree stem at the bottom of this tree. This looks like it's sitting on the snow without a tree trunk. You could put a tree trunk in. You could put packages on the ground. You could do whatever you want.
And there's plenty of time to play in the paint. You see what I'm doing. I'm pulling out some needle type things. But really, this is about done. I'm going to finish it off with a star on top. I'm going to use yellow.
D. Thompson, D. Thompson, you are very welcome. Thank you. Hi, Eliza.
There it is. See, in just a few minutes, there's a painting, and this will probably be dry tomorrow. Again, this easy flow pouring medium I use, it actually dries relatively quickly. So potentially I could hang this on the wall tomorrow. At the very worst, it would be the next day.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Marcia. So you're getting a lot of really great comments. People are really liking what you're doing here. It's hello in the UK, Laura. I don't know if there's the primary thing here is to just go. Don't be afraid. Just start. The best way to learn and or improve or to expand your skills is to just go. Just start going.
Use what you have. Acrylic paint. If you want to start with craft paint, it's very inexpensive. The craft paint mixes really well with this pouring medium. The colors are pretty. Don't hesitate to use whatever you have. So now this painting will be going alongside my poinsettias that I did last week. I hope you've checked out that live that we did and some other Christmas videos. If you would like to be a member of my paint pouring group on Facebook called Paint Pouring People, please join. I love seeing all the paintings that you're doing. So it's really fun. There's some really, really good paintings around the world. It's just amazing to me how around the world this has become, both YouTube and this painting technique of pouring. There's so many people from beginners to experienced painters who are doing this pouring technique, and I hope I've helped you along, give you some ideas, and believe me, there will be more. And let me know what you think. Let me know where you're from. If you're watching this later, I love seeing where everybody's from.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through some of the comments. There's a few questions here, and we'll just take maybe 5 minutes, and we'll let Caren answer some questions. And let me just scroll down through the questions. Let's see. We don't use tour bookbinding glue, so I'm not sure how to answer that question. Hello, you guys. Kansas City. The messages they're trying to disappear on me here, but I'm scrolling through them. You guys are Marianne. You're very welcome. The name of your pouring medium again, Susan wants to know.
It's called Easy Flow, and another.
Hold it up.
This is it right here. I have this on my Amazon supply list. If you click on the link, which I'll post the link in the video after this video goes into video and it's no longer live, I can go into the description and post the link. It's on Amazon, and all my other videos, you can find the link to my Amazon supply list. This is not in stores.
Tiff, be sure to get plenty of sleep. You got to get sleep so you can paint. Are the live videos on any kind of a schedule? Orion, we're working on kind of trying to figure out what the best scheduling is. Right now, we're going to maybe shoot for Fridays around this time, around 5 o'clock Eastern on a Friday, but it's not set in stone. What we're going to try to do is give everybody a full 24 hours notice about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. You're welcome, everybody that is thanking us and stuff. Karen's getting a lot of thank yous. Vonnie here wants a close-up. So what I'm going to do is, if Caren will tip it up, I'm going to zoom down in to where we can see the cells and things like that, and give you some real texture close-up here.
So what I did here was I emulated a winter sky with some pink and some gold, and I didn't want it to be too strong because I wanted the tree to stand out. And of course the lower part is just white with some blue across it, and I used a different blue than I did in the tree part. You want to be sure you make those distinctions. If I had used the same blue, it would look too similar to the tree.
Okay, I'm gonna answer some more questions.
Okay.
I'm trying not to miss anybody, but if I miss somebody, we'll either answer again or we'll definitely try to answer after the fact when this video is posted.
Right.
Why Easy Flow instead of Floetrol? Just it's your personal preference. A lot of this stuff is personal preference. Floetrol works fine. Your personal preference is just Easy Flow. A lot of people. Yeah, the fires are definitely scary in California. Once the paint is mixed, how long can you save it for another time to use?
Yeah, that is another question that
Carmen
I have.
Carmen is asking that.
Carmen, as long as you cover it, it should last indefinitely. There is no reason for this paint to go bad, go wrong. In fact, I find that I don't even need to stir it much, if at all. Now, I do stir it just in case there's silicone in there, pouring medium, the paint, and it stays really good. If it's hot out and you leave it uncovered, you might get a little skin on top, but there's no expiration on mixed paint.
Okay, Jessica's asking about how long to safely ship a canvas without damage. I think you mean how much time to Jessica, before it dries, before you can ship it, as if I'm interpreting your question right.
Again, it depends on your pouring medium. I have found that I used glue a little bit to test months and months ago, and also Liquitex pouring medium. They seem to take longer, and they also have kind of a soft film. Liquitex pouring medium has a film that never really hardens. So I actually hesitate to wrap those because they can get impressions like a fingernail impression. But anyway, to answer your question, at least a week, probably more. And again, it depends on the depth of your pour. If it's a fairly shallow pour, it's going to take less time. But give it a week, I would say, just safely.
Colleen is also asking about, is it necessary to gesso the back of your canvas when you gesso the front?
No. What I do to the back of my canvas, though, is when I get new canvases, I spray the back with water. What it does, if there's any little sag even if there's not, I spray the back and it will tighten up the canvas, and it'll be a tighter canvas after the water is dry, but I do not gesso the back.
Okay. Talking about, it's a little bit hard to get with, brand name for a flow medium in the UK. That's always a problem. The UK and Australia pouring mediums are a little bit.
Easy Flow is made in France. The company is Oatrol, and they market it as Floetrol over in Europe. So look for Floetrol made by Oatrol.
And Caren uses Minwax polyacrylic varnish.
Right.
She doesn't spray. Just again, who wants to inhale spraying stuff and it gets in the air and it gets all over everything? She uses Minwax polyacrylic and she brushes it on, usually 2 coats. Some people use other things.
This is a hardware store item, but I also have it on my Amazon shopping list if you can't find it.
Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up. If you have any final questions that I didn't answer, didn't get to, hit us with them right now because we're going to wrap it up in just the next couple of minutes. But we appreciate you joining us. And, we'll look forward to seeing you again. Join Paint Pouring People. If, Caren's got links to on all of her shopping list. She's got a PayPal link if you want to help keep the channel flowing and going here for us. That's really helpful.
We appreciate any donations that we've had, and it really helps keep the paint flowing, as he said. So this is what we're doing, and I love seeing what you guys are doing. I love the response. The subscribers have been off the chart, and if you want to comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we really appreciate it. And we'll definitely be doing more lives and answering questions. So thanks for coming by today.
And final question is, we don't have a specific paint recommendation for Australia. We just don't.
No, I don't. If you want to try some craft paint, I think that Americana and some of the other inexpensive craft paints are probably in Australia too, but I don't know for sure.
But we're also working on this problem, just so you know. We've got some things in the works, and we'll be sharing it with you soon.
Right.
Okay, guys.
Happy painting, you guys. Thank you.
Have fun.